The Business of Apparel podcast is your one-stop shop to learn how to launch, grow, and scale your apparel brand. I'm your host, Rachel Erickson. Now let's jump in. Welcome back to the Business of Apparel podcast. Today we're doing something a little bit special. I've got three really fun things to announce for you. Number one, I really want to introduce you to Ella Ripley Rodriguez, who is our marketing assistant here at Unmarked Street and the Business of Apparel. I have never met anybody just more organized, more ambitious, more excited about her future than Ella. And we are so excited to have her as a part of the team here. So today you're going to get to meet Ella a little bit. We are doing our very first press briefing. And so Ella's helping me with some PR, reaching out, public relations, trying to get me into some magazines, onto more podcasts, and just kind of get our name out there a lot more. She's been doing a fantastic job, and we have a reporter who's interested in maybe talking to me. So she's prepping me for this press briefing. And this is the first time we're doing it. And so this is totally live. She's going to be asking me some different questions. And so that's kind of the third big thing. This is totally unprepared. She's going to be asking me these questions that I don't know what's coming. So let's dive right in. Ella, thanks so much for coming on today and being willing to help me showcase this side of the business.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. It feels surreal because I've been watching the podcast for a couple of years now. So seeing the back end is really cool.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Well, let's dive in.
Perfect. Okay. So first question, we'll just do a little bit of a backstory. I'm sure everyone who listens to this already knows this, but can you tell us a little bit about your backstory and what brought you to this career path?
Yeah, absolutely. So I graduated in 2007 with a fashion design degree from the University of Cincinnati's Design, Architecture, Art, and Planning School. That's a mouthful. And went straight into corporate fashion. So I worked at Abercrombie & Fitch for a few years and then hopped around with several different companies, as so many in our industry do. I found myself working in professional athletic apparel. So I found myself at Specialized Bicycle Components near the end of my corporate career. And after about 5 years there, just started to feel really burnt out on corporate life and knew that there was something bigger and better for me. So my husband and I really, really talked about what a plan of that would look like. What would it look like for me to leave my 9-to-5 high-paying salary job and go out on my own and start my own consulting agency? So in October of 2021, I left corporate and started my own consulting and freelancing agency, which I called Unmarked Street. And Unmarked Street comes from Dr. Seuss's book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. There's a line in there that says, you will come to a place where the streets are not marked. And that's kind of just how I felt about my career. That's how I felt about the people who I wanted to help in the industry. You know, they're not quite sure how to do product development or technical design. And so it felt really apropos to name it Unmarked Street. I started as what I thought was just going to be solo freelancing, and I had so much work on my plate within the first 6 months. I had to start hiring, and so we became an agency, and now we have added an education arm to our business called the Business of Apparel. And now we help startups and industry pros and students learn everything that they need to know about this industry because the industry loves to keep its secrets, and we're out here trying to break the mold on that.
Okay, I love that. And then can you tell us a little bit about your aha moment that wanted you to create specifically the Business of Apparel? How'd you go from Unmarked Street to the Business of Apparel?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my passion is mentoring and managing. When I was near the end of my career, it was my favorite part of my job, getting to hire amazing people, getting to bring them on, really allow their careers to flourish, help them get promotions and raises and learn what they needed to know to make sure that they could get to those levels. And so when it came to freelancing solo and then being able to start hiring people, I started to realize more and more that that's really where my zone of genius is in leading and educating and mentoring. And so I wanted to build something that allowed me to do that on a regular basis. And that's where the Business of Apparel was born. I created an online course to really get my information out in a very wide way. And now we have an annual membership where I get to mentor one-on-one everybody who's in our group every single week.
I love that. Yeah, I try not to play favorites with the two companies, but the Business of Apparel is just always going to be special in my heart.
Yeah, me too. Same.
Okay, so what do you think makes your company stand out in the apparel industry? Let's talk about the Business of Apparel specifically.
Okay, great. I think the business of apparel is very, very different from many of the other mentorship programs that are out there because it's led by multiple industry veterans. Like me and my entire team, we all have 15, 20, 25-year careers working for corporate fashion. And there's a lot of information that corporate fashion really likes to keep close to the chest, even when they're working with each other. Like, for example, when I was at Specialized, we spent an entire week once going up to Nike and trying to benchmark against their processes and what were they doing and how were they succeeding. And there was so much secrecy in even those rooms between billion-dollar brands. And it made me realize that it's on purpose. Like there's no information sharing in this industry on purpose because it's so competitive all the time. And so what I think is the people who are out there who have built their own brand and they're trying to now mentor other people into building their own brands don't have all of that knowledge because sometimes it takes you 15 years of grinding in corporate fashion before you get invited to even learn some of that information. And so what we're out here teaching is information that nobody else has access to. And it's also not just me. I'm not a solo mentor inside the business of apparel. I bring my entire team in. We bring guest speakers in. We have a huge network in this industry because of how many years we've been doing it. And so we bring them in to also talk to our community. And it's unparalleled in that way. You can't learn this information anywhere else. You started your apparel brand a few years ago with a vision. And maybe you've thought to yourself, I should be able to figure this out on my own, right? Or maybe you've been searching for a quick fix, like a new manufacturer, believing that's the missing piece. But what if the real problem isn't your manufacturer? What if the secret to scaling isn't doing more, but doing it differently? What if you could stop wasting money on the wrong things and avoid costly mistakes? What if you could gain insider knowledge and community support from a team that has over 70 years of combined experience working for the hugest brands on the planet? Introducing my Masterclass, Secrets Behind Billion-Dollar Apparel Brands. This Masterclass is for you if you're ready to stop feeling stuck, frustrated, and insecure. It's time to stop putting out fires and start building a profitable, fulfilling brand that can stand the test of time. Join me and learn the real talk, transparent mentorship that the industry doesn't offer. Discover how to create a brand that works for you, not the other way around. Go to thebusinessofapparel.com/secrets and sign up today.
Okay, yeah, I love that. I mean, I knew nothing about the fashion industry before coming in to work for you. And if you can teach me about a tech pack and all of that stuff, I can imagine people who already have a background and that they're passionate about it, what you could do for them.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so now I'm going to put you on the spot. So if you could talk to like the younger version of yourself, like the burnt out Rachel working in the corporate industry, what are just 5 quick things you wish you could tell yourself before you became a CEO?
5 quick things. Okay, help me count. One of the things I would tell myself is working for someone else makes you expendable. At the end of the day, when you quit or if they decide to fire you or let you go, they're going to replace you in a minute. It's going to take them no time at all to figure out how to replace you and that you're no longer needed. And so many of us in corporate work ourselves to the bone. We work overtime that's unpaid. We work so many hours. We try to do so many different roles and so many different jobs. And there has to be a better balance. I think if I could talk to myself back in 2020 and 2021, I would try to really convince myself that I needed to find a way to step back. I needed to find a way to find an amount of work that was right for me, that made me feel good about what I was doing, but also allowed me time to relax and rest because I was putting in so much work for a company that wasn't going to do the same for me. So I think that's huge if you're working at corporate. Number 2, let's see. I would tell myself that being naive about being a woman in this industry is not serving me. I think there was a really long time where I thought being one of the guys or being one of the boys was the way to go, and learning how to fit into a culture that is actually really toxic was going to serve me well. And it took me a while to understand that it never was. It was something that I was going to have to battle and get over and learn how to be a better woman be a better feminist and really stand up for the women who are around me. So I think that's something else. I allowed myself to be naive for a really long time. I think number three probably goes very similarly with number one, but the idea of working 9 to 5 or 8 hours a day or 40 hours a week is just such an archaic way of working. Now, working for myself and when I lead my team, as long as the work gets done, I don't really care what the hours are. I don't care if you're working late at night. I don't care if you only worked 3 hours today. As long as you got your work done, we're good. We're in good standing, right? And so there are days where I get my three priorities knocked out, and if I want to go for a long walk or go take the rest of the day off, I give myself that time and that space. And I think that that's really important to understand. And I really wish I would have known that back then too. Like if you finished your stuff for the day, like let's celebrate that and go have the rest of the day to yourself. I think number three is something that I'm still trying to tell myself, even 4 years into running my own business. But exercise and physical care and taking care of myself and carving out time for like going to the gym and lifting weights and going for a run or getting outside to go for a walk is incredibly, incredibly important. I will say for a really long time at corporate, I tied myself to a desk. And even when I was bored on the weekends, I would work because I didn't really prioritize movement and what was good for my body. And that's a really hard habit to break once you start to get into that habit. So I really wish I would have pushed myself to stay more active and prioritized, I think, just working out and moving my body a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Number five, I think last but not least, I would have told myself, I think this is something I've actually just recently learned. Money isn't everything. Like it's just not. And at the end of the day, there are a lot of different decisions that will lead you to happiness and joy and fulfillment that don't include money. And a lot of the times, if you're following a decision just because of money, you will actually go down the wrong path. And we did that in a couple of different instances over the last few years. And I think I'm finally learning that lesson, learning how to say no to big money because it doesn't serve us in all the right ways.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay, so being a CEO, I've never seen anyone work so hard and tirelessly as you. And so what's specifically would you say is your one biggest challenge? I know there's many challenges just in the apparel industry, being a woman, working remotely, everything. So can you share a story about what would you say your biggest challenge is, specifically as a CEO, and then how you overcame it?
Yeah, I would say I'm still overcoming it. I think my biggest challenge is learning how to give people a picture of the value that we bring with the programs that we offer. I don't have a sales background. I don't have a marketing background. I'm learning all of that on the fly. And when I, started my company back in 2021, I wasn't even on social media. And so I've had to learn all of that from scratch. I literally had to Google in October of 2021, like, how do I post on Instagram? And now we're posting every single day and multiple days, and you see my face on there all the time. I think something that's really hard for me is like, I don't know how to do this is going to sound really harsh, but I don't know how to do the bullshit sales stuff. Like, I don't know how to convince someone in a bullshit way to come buy something that isn't necessarily for them. And so it's taken us a long time to grow because I don't know how to do that, right? Like if I'm telling you that this program is really, really valuable and it's going to help you, that comes from such a place of honesty and like truth. Like I know that this program is going to help you. And so when people come to me and ask specific questions, if I don't know that this program can help you, I'm not going to fake that. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to grab your money just for the sake of grabbing your money. That's not the kind of values and integrity that we built into this company. And so it's made growth hard. And I think as a CEO, when you're learning sales and you're learning how to grow from an authentic place, it makes growth slow. And I'm an impatient person when it comes to that stuff. So those definitely go, they kind of battle each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can speak to that. I know we've had talks about like we can't have a million free webinars. We got to bring in some cash at the end of the day. So yeah, you're like the opposite of I feel like any other CEO I heard of, where you want to really create like the barriers of entry into the business of apparel to be as low as possible. You want to help as many people as possible. So I love that.
Yeah, that's definitely our goal.
Yes. Okay. And so about like apparel founders, what would you say are some of the most common mistakes you see new apparel founders make, and how could they avoid them?
Absolutely. Number one is thinking that you need to start with a huge collection. We see so many people come in and they want to develop 10 to 20 different styles without even knowing what their key product is. They don't know what they want to be famous for. They don't know the one product that their target customer really, really needs. And so by starting with such a big collection, you actually end up spending so much more money and so much more time on developing all of those pieces instead of focusing on one key thing that you know your target customer is asking for, your target customer wants, your target customer needs. And then you can become famous for that one thing. And maybe that one thing is an outfit, or maybe it's a small capsule collection, like maybe it's 3 pieces, not just one. But trying to go too wide at first is only going to be the detriment to your business. And so we really try to steer people into deciding how to curate a smaller line at first. And that leads me to the other two things too, is just number one, being afraid to spend your money on hiring. At first, I think people really feel in this industry that they have to figure it out alone. And I don't know where that comes from. Like there are so many other industries who have coaching and mentoring and so many other ways to learn what you need to learn to run a business properly. And in the fashion industry, that's just not widely accepted. And so we're trying to break that mold, but asking for help is a superpower. And so hiring people, joining communities is the best way to get the help that you need. And then also just you don't have to spend a fortune, but it is not cheap to start an apparel brand. So starting with zero is probably not going to be possible in the apparel brand. Now, there are ways we can talk to you about it if that's really, really what you want to do. And we'll help you put a business plan together for that. But if you can save a little bit of money and you can figure out how to start with some funds, you're going to go a lot farther, a lot faster.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. I love that. Okay, and then do you have one leadership principle that has guided you throughout your career, like kind of your North Star?
Communication. I am an over communicator when it comes to ideas that I have, when it comes to changes we're going to make at the company, when it comes to new clients, when it comes to goals that we have with the company, when it comes to our back end financials. I try to be as transparent with my team as I can be. And so we have mid-year meetings, we have end-of-year meetings where I expose all of that to the entire team. I've always been that way. Even when I was back in corporate, I really wanted to be an over communicator. And that comes from a time when I was being led by people who were literally telling me like, hey, we've got this big announcement that's going to come up and you're not allowed to tell anybody. And that just felt so terrible in my body. Like if you've ever just had a physical reaction to something negatively, that always felt so awful. And so I got to a point in my corporate career where I didn't listen to that anymore. And I would just tell my team, especially if something was going to directly affect them. And so over communication, even at a time when I was told specifically not to, has just always been my MO. You've put in the hours, you've mastered the fundamentals, and your brand is no longer a passion project. But somewhere along the way, the hustle that got you here started to feel like a trap. You're building a business, not just making clothes, and you're starting to wonder if you'll ever crack the code to consistent, profitable growth. What if I told you that industry's top brands aren't just working harder, they're working smarter, with a clear blueprint for everything from line planning to streamlining their supply chain? This is the insider knowledge that's typically kept behind closed doors, but now it's accessible to you. Introducing The Board, an annual membership designed to give you that strategic advantage. Led by a team with over 70 years of combined experience, we provide the honest, real talk mentorship you need to move from busy to truly successful. We'll show you how to focus on the small, consistent actions that lead to massive progress, helping you build a legacy without the burnout. It's time to stop second-guessing yourself and start building with purpose. Don't pay attention to the chaos. Pay attention to what actually matters. Join the board and unlock the proven systems that will transform your brand. Go to thebusinessofapparel.com to find the option that's right for you. I can't wait to see you in there.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about you is how transparent you are with us. So, okay, so, common fact: many apparel startups fail in the first few years. So, how is our approach different?
Yeah, our approach is slow and steady. It is a patience game and it is a long game to build an apparel brand the right way. And understanding that building your foundation, just like building a house, you have to build the foundation first. You have to have something sturdy to put your business on. And so we really start with our the people who come into our program who know nothing about the apparel industry or know nothing about building a business. Really start that first year in building those standard operating procedures, figuring out what their key product is, really naming their target customer. We're going to start with those foundations so that when you start to make product, it's from a place of knowing. It's from a place of knowing exactly what it is that's going to make you money. It comes from a place of saving money in that first year so that you do have a little bit of funds to start with. And that slow and steady pace can be really annoying for people. A lot of people don't want that. And I'll say I'm one of those people too, right? Like we're 4 years in and I'm frustrated that we're not further along than we are. And I know that a lot of CEOs get into that state, but slow and steady is the name of the game. And we get you past year 3, year 4, year 5 into year 10 because we want you to start slow. We want you to know what you're doing. We want you to make a smart plan, and then we're going to help you execute it. So we want to be with our customers and our clients for decades. We want to be helping them build their brands for years and years and years. And even though it's frustrating, we want to get you past that 3-year mark that so many fail to get to because we're going to make you sit and set up the standards that you need. And we're going to make you succeed by having the processes that are going to bolster you for decades.
Amazing. Yeah, and I love that people can work with us long term. Like almost Business of Apparel is kind of like the undergrad like learning aspect, and then you could graduate and go to do your master's at Unmarked Street.
Yes.
And yeah, I love it. Okay, amazing. And then something that's very unique about the Business of Apparel is the community aspect. So can you speak a little bit about how a community mentorship can help apparel founders build the businesses of their dreams?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first started Unmarked Street, one of the very first things that I did was join a coaching company. I knew that I was going to need help building a business. And so I found a company that I trusted and that I believed in. And their program was $2,500 a month. I was making zero money. And I decided I was going to go all in. I was going to join this coaching company. I was going to learn and use every single thing that I learned. And before I knew it, I was making more money than what that coaching company cost. I was paying for it easily in no time because I was utilizing the information that they were sharing with me. But one of the most special parts of it is that I made friendships and I made connections through the group coaching calls that still linger with me today. Like some of the most supportive people that I've ever met, some of the people who I know I can turn to with business questions, with help, with support in such a special way were the people that I met in that group coaching. And when we're now coaching inside the board and we have our group calls, it's not just me mentoring and it's not just my team mentoring. It's the people inside also helping each other, giving each other advice, cheering each other on, celebrating each other's wins. And those kinds of things are so much more impactful than you can even imagine. And it's that piece of like someone who's maybe a year ahead of you asking a question that you can't even fathom today. Like you can't even think about it today, but you've heard them ask that question and get an answer today. So now you're thinking about it, you're planning for it, you're expanding your knowledge in a way that's not possible in any other way. And so that's why, to me, community is everything. And learning from a group is so, so important.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, so what's a lesson you learned the hard way, and what did it teach you about leadership specifically?
Yeah, I've had to learn how to hire slow and fire fast since starting this company. Hiring slow is all about bringing the right people on and making sure that they're the right person for the job. Doing proper interviewing, having people even do tests and pay them for, a tech pack. I need to see what a tech pack from you looks like. I'm going to pay you to do it, but I need to test you and I need to make sure that you're the right person for the job. So hiring slow. But firing fast, I think, is one of the hardest things. And realizing when there are people inside your organization that aren't doing the work that you need to do or the work that you expect them to do, and letting them go and letting them say, this isn't the right match. You're not stepping up to the level that I need you to be. And we're going to end this relationship. And sometimes that includes clients. Sometimes that includes clients who take advantage of us or are really bad about scope creep and want us to do more than we've signed on to do without paying us more, things like that. It's really hard to break relationships, especially once you've taken so much time to build them, but it's not absolutely necessary.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. And then we'll leave it on a positive, good note. Do you have like a little piece of hope or like positivity you could share with people who are either in the midst of their apparel startup and going through the struggles right now, or people who that's like their dream one day is to have their own apparel brand?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to tell you a little story about Celeste. So Celeste was our very first board member. She came to us back in October of 2024. She had been working with a seamstress and a marketing team for 3 whole years, and she had an idea for a product that she knew was going to be big. She knew that she had talked to enough target customers. It was a product that she wanted. She knew exactly in her mind how it was supposed to look, feel, fit, and she couldn't get it right. She was working with a seamstress who kept telling her that what she wanted was not workable. It could never be done. Her marketing team was expensive and she was spending money on not marketing anything because she didn't have a product yet. And so when she came to us in October, we were able to take her from that place to having her first actual prototype that looked exactly like the product that she wanted within 30 days. And then she joined the board and she's been learning all about the apparel industry. She's been doing all of her line planning, all of her budgeting. She's put together a business plan. She finally has inventory actually at her house. It is all organized, ready to sell. And 2 days ago, I got the first message from her where she sold her first product to a stranger. Now she's sold to some family and friends, and that's always the great first way to sell. But she texted me the other day and she said, I made my first official sale. Someone that I don't know went onto the website and made their sale. Now we're recording this in October of 2025. It took a year. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about slow and steady growth. So it took a year to go from zero to her very first sale, but now she's off and running. I mean, this is the kind of thing that like, she wasn't even dedicated to sales yet. And she hasn't even really leaned into marketing yet. She hasn't even really leaned into her social media yet. So what we're going to be helping her with next is how to do all of those things in a much bigger way so that this proof of concept, right? This proof that there is a product out there that people want, people will buy it. We're just going to help her amplify that and get to a point where now she's just making money and living that CEO dream lifestyle that she wants. And so excited for her. Like those are the things that make my heart so happy. I'm so excited to celebrate her and her success. And we're just excited to watch her grow over the next few years too.
Yeah, so exciting. And then what about some like positivity, some hope, some advice specifically for like CEOs, like people working in their 9 to 5s, not passionate about what they're doing and they want to take that like giant leap of faith?
Yeah, it's hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard to take that leap and it's hard to run a business and it's hard to start, but you have to just start. You will learn as you go. You will pick up what you need to pick up. You will meet the right people. You will take the right courses. You will join the right groups. And if you don't, move on to a new group, take a different course. All of it is so valuable, but you can't do it unless you jump in and start. And it is so rewarding on this side of it because instead of grinding and working for someone else and making their dream come true, now I'm making my dream come true. And we're also just getting started. So there's so much opportunity for what our business is going to be able to grow into, the type of team that we're going to be able to hire and support and get them great salaries and great jobs, and the way that I'm going to be able to support my family with what we're going to do with the business. Like all of that is so special. It's not something that you'll ever get if you're working in corporate. I'm not going to lie. You kind of have to do it on your own. And the freedom of that, even though you work more, you definitely work more hours, the freedom of it is unprecedented.
Oh, that's inspiring. Okay. Those are all my questions. Is there anything else like you want me to ask you?
No, that covered a lot of it. That was fantastic.
Okay. Good.
How'd I do?
Great job.
Okay.
Great. No, great. Yes. Everything was very like clear. You stuck to the questions. Great. I love that. I think the only thing is like if it was a journalist that wasn't familiar with our background, like either just sticking to the business of apparel since that's what
Okay.
we're kind of promoting right now, or I feel like people can't wrap their heads around like the differences. So I think maybe just
Okay.
sticking to one would be easier, and like not mentioning Unmarked Street or kind
Okay,
of
great.
mentioning it in like a like basic, like how would you tell your grandma type of way.
Okay. Yeah, no, I love that. And yeah, I need to keep remembering that. A lot of advice I've been getting is like, how would you describe it to your like 5th grade nephew? so, so yeah, I'll put Max in my mind.
Okay, perfect.
No, yeah, I think that's all we're going to do today. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Business of Apparel podcast. If you liked this episode, please leave us a review. And if you think it'll help somebody else, please share it. Thanks, Ella, for being here with us today, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Business of Apparel podcast. I would so appreciate hearing your thoughts on the show. And if you know someone who could benefit from it, please share it with them. My biggest desire is to help other apparel professionals understand the nuances of our industry so we can all work toward making better product for a better world. If you would like to connect further, I'd love to invite you to send me a message through my website, thebusinessofapparel.com, where I do weekly trainings through my YouTube video channel, a weekly newsletter, blog articles, and so many more resources to help you start and scale a profitable apparel brand. This podcast is produced by Box 7 Media, who I cannot speak highly enough of. If you're looking to start your own podcast, you can reach out to Jeremy at Box 7 Media on LinkedIn anytime.